Welcome back to Casey's Backyard Barbecue. Today we're going to be doing a California classic, a tri-tip. We're going to do it brisket style. Here we go. All right, today we're gonna do our tri-tip. Very California classic, but we don't get to find these on the East Coast too often. We just found one of these in the grocery store. Now I looked it up. I saw the different ways that tri-tip is cooked. Today we're gonna be doing it brisket style. All right, now take a look at the tri-tip. I don't think I'm gonna be taking off too much of our extra fat here. If there's just any like silver skin and things like that, that's what I'm gonna be trimming up. And we're gonna be saving all of our extra bits because we're gonna be rendering them down to a beef tallow. And then let's take a look at our fat cap. And all those extra pieces like that, we're gonna render down into a beef tallow because that is awesome. I'm gonna take this down to just about a 1/4 inch. That's a pretty, look at the size of that fat cap. That is huge. That's gonna be a lot of tallow for us. So I'm just gonna take this down a bit. One thing that I could tell almost immediately, this fat cap here is a little tougher almost than a brisket one. So I definitely want to take a lot of this off on this tri-tip portion. All right, and that's looking pretty good to me. And I think it should be pretty obvious why they call this cut of meat the tri-tip. Just had that last little bit right there. Now time to season it up. Our rub today is gonna be fairly brisket style. 2 parts granulated pepper, kosher salt, 1 part, and 1/2 part granulated garlic. Binder today, we're gonna be using just mustard and pickle juice. That looks pretty good to me. We'll let that rest while we fire up the pit. All right, today we're gonna be smoking this at about 225 to 250 degrees over hickory wood logs. Pretty much doing this exactly like a brisket, just hitting brisket temps. Gonna do it all the same way the brisket ways, and we'll see what comes out. All right, it's time to put our meats on the smoker. They've been sitting out here for a little bit, and it looks like they're already sweating, just like me. Large side towards the center, our lean side towards the edge of the pit there, and then we're just gonna take our extra trimmings, smoking them down until we render them into a beef tallow. And we're just gonna let that chill for a few hours. It's cooked for 3 hours now, about 200 to 275, somewhere in that range. It's been kind of bouncing back and forth. Let's take a look at what we got. Did one little thing here, just a little protective tin foil on this side. It was getting a little crispy. Temp readings right now, it dropped a little bit, but it hit about 140, 150-ish. So let's get it wrapped. Take a look at that. It looks pretty good. I think we've got some pretty decent bark on there. The bark stuck pretty well. So we're gonna take our smoked beef tallow that we rendered a little bit earlier, and this is what we're gonna be using as sort of our wrap around the area. It didn't quite solidify yet, but that's totally fine. Trying to keep it nice and tight in there. That should be pretty good. And we're gonna put that back on there until it reaches an internal temperature of about 190, 200, somewhere in there, and then we'll see what we got. And I'm trying to be careful here to make sure that the leaner part is towards that part of the grill on the smoker box. Brought it off the smoker and I let it rest for about another hour. It was on the smoker there at about 250 degrees for 3 more hours wrapped. And this is what we got so far. Okay, time for our big reveal. It looks exactly like our brisket. Very warm still. Oh boy, don't lose that. Don't lose it. We want to keep all that. Oh my goodness. All right, I want to keep these juices. We're gonna be using this. Now on a tri-tip, one of the things is that the grains run this way and then they run this way. So you have to sort of cut it in the middle, which is exactly what we're gonna do now. I'm curious, is this worth the time? Oh, that looks pretty dang good, but that looks pretty juicy and that's a gorgeous smoke ring. We're gonna go kind of thin on that. Very, very warm still. All All right, so that's all of that one point, and the other one we got to turn it. That's the fat cap. I guess you get sort of like some burn ends almost, like right here, off of this section here. And I think that's why we made the section that we try right there. And here we go. Let's give this one a little bit of a bite. Get a bit of that right there. It's got a lot of brisket kind of flavor to it. And this is gonna be the fattier cuts. And again, we're cutting it the opposite way now. But that pulls right apart just like that. Just like a brisket. Smells like a brisket. Tastes like a brisket steak. Tri tip, smoke like a brisket, I think I would definitely recommend. Try it at home.